So what I'm going to do right now is enable our Prolog Mobile product. I'm going to show this today from the perspective of an iPad, but we also have Windows tablet version available. And what I'm doing is mirroring here. So as a superintendent, I'm logging in. I have access to security-driven access to all the projects that I may be working on. So I'm going to go into one of these projects. And the first thing you'll see is we have a list of functionality that's specifically developed for field personnel. So we may have things like checklists. And what is a checklist? A checklist is a way for you to create custom forms with the content that you want as a company and push it out to your field staff. So for example, I may have a concrete checklist. I can create my own questions, my own responses. It can have multiple pages. So I can record whatever I need to, and it's specific to the thing. So I can put in a slump value, I can put in break values, and if there's a problem, I can use the device itself to take pictures, video, etc. So here's an example. I'm going to pull up the camera on my iPad. Or I think I'm going to. Hold on, let me see here. So here's the video from my iPad. I'm looking at my computer screen. That's a little strange looking in there, but so now I'm extending out audio, video capabilities to provide better information, and this works with all aspects and all the modules of our iPad. But I'm able to provide better data to people that are looking at this because I have real-world pictures and video coming from the field that are tied to the records that are going into the system. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a look at something called Plan View. Plan View is where I can tag things to locations on the plan. So for example, let's say I'm pouring concrete in a location. I can mark that location. I can open that record up, fill it out. I can pin things to anywhere on that map based on whatever I'm doing. And then again, I can put in things like video or audio of actually what's happening in the field. Again, we're moving to providing rich content to people so that they can see what's going on in their jobs and what they can do with it in the back office, or just to have it for protection or claims. And then one of the new features that we've added for Prolog 9.7 is the ability to do some daily field reports. So let me run through a list of the functionality real quick. We have a checklist module that we took to look at, daily details, weather conditions, a daily work journal so that a sub can put in their daily report. Events can be any sort of event that's happening, pouring concrete, erecting steel. I can capture progress in an event. A field work directive where I can instruct our subcontractors or project teams to do things. A tasking system called Hot List. Inspections and tests so that I can manage any sort of inspection or test that I have going on in the job. Capture critical issues happening in the field. Deliver material and track the delivery of material to the job site. Provide a notice to comply, and an example of that may be something like you need to clean up your work area or there's going to be a consequence. A full punch list capability. New features for 9.7 is we've added hierarchy so that if you select the first floor, it would limit the rooms to just the rooms on the first floor. So you can build your own custom hierarchies around a punch list. A request for information so I can ask questions back up to the office or the rest of the project team, and manage my safety. But we're going to focus today on what's called a daily field report and what that can do for somebody. So let's go in and take a look at a daily field report. So in this daily field report, I'm able to capture the temperature for the day, what are the weather conditions, attach any general notes of what's going on, who is a visitor to the site, and then I'm going to click on this tab at the bottom that allows me to enter reports for all the different subcontractors or my own crews that are working on the job for that day. So for example, if I go into Able Concrete, I can enter what they've worked on, who is there from a labor perspective, an equipment perspective, and again, attach any sort of rich content that I want to through audio, video, or pictures to that crew and what they did for the day. So I can do that for multiple crews. So maybe I want to have Able, but I also have IntelliSense working, or I have my own crews. I get a similar record where I can enter all the labor for that crew, what equipment they used, and again, rich content back for that person. These all can be synchronized back to the main office. In the iPad or the Trimble, or excuse me, the Windows tablet can work in an offline mode. So if I have no internet connection, I capture all this information in the field. When I get back to the office, I simply synchronize it back up. Nobody has to rekey any information. I don't have to hand it off to a project engineer or secretary on the job to rekey that information in, and it makes it super simple. The other feature that we have is we can push project files out to the iPad. So they can always have access to the latest drawings or training videos. I can create whatever structure that I want to push out to everybody. So now I can have safety brown bag training meetings that are kind of being launched from my iPad, or at least review the content for the whole project team, or training videos on how to do something, or access to all the drawings or files right there on my iPad, making it super simple for our project teams. So let's take a look at what's new in 9.7. We looked at some of this earlier. In Prolog Manager, we extended our reporting and querying capabilities into some new modules. Checklists, which I will show you an example of right now, or what actually we looked at earlier, the checklist module where you can build your own checklist. It's completely customizable by you, where you can push any type of form, the answers, and the rich content out to the field. Around workflow, cash flow, and forecasting, we are now able to report, query, change any sort of nomenclature, manage the security around those, and do complete data searches around all of those modules. We've also modernized our web client. So we've adopted a new standard that makes things super fast. We know that our end users are needing more and more data pushed out to the field or to the internet, and they want that experience to be near desktop quality. So our new web client modernization has achieved that. We have near desktop speeds, even though you're accessing a web-based solution through the web. Really great thing to check out. And then what's new in Prolog Mobile, one of the hottest things that's going on right now is the mobile capabilities, being able to work online, offline. We looked at the daily field report where you're able to capture weather conditions and reports from what's going on for several crews or subcontractors on the job, being able to manage all the collaboration around an RFI directly in the field, and then punch list level hierarchy. So as I'm punching out the building, if I select the first floor, it would limit the rooms to just the first floor rooms. And then however you want to set up that hierarchy, it's completely customizable by you. So let's say you have a job that has multiple buildings or is a campus. You can create that hierarchy for a building, for a floor, for a room, and it would create that hierarchical structure to make it really easy for the people putting in the punch list item to narrow down specifically where it is, and then they can tag it to a location on the plans. Super simple. And then from an integration standpoint, we're constantly growing our web services capabilities that we took a look at later. We've extended that into general invoices, applications for payment, purchase orders, revenue codes, and reading the work breakdown structure. This is really going to help when you're integrating with an accounting system to make it super simple to integrate with an accounting system.